Today I want to share 10 tips on securing your dream home in this crazy seller's market. Hello, my name is Dana Pollard and I'm a real estate agent, and I've lived in Texas since I was 4 years old, and I love discovering the best places to live in Texas for you. So if you're looking to buy a home, fill out my dream home questionnaire in the link below to schedule your one-on-one Zoom consultation with a buyer specialist. These are people on my team that I've personally vetted, personally chosen for their work ethic and values, and they specialize in working with buyers. So they are top-notch. Okay, and if you're looking to sell a home, fill out my Sell My Home questionnaire, and I have the best listing agent on my team, as well as we can vet out agents in your local area that we have connections with and make sure that their work is top-notch. So fill out the questionnaire in the link below, and let's get started. So the first tip I have when putting in offers to purchase a home in a crazy, crazy market where things are in multiple offers. I mean, we're talking, it could have anywhere from 2, which is rare, to 20 to even 50 or 60 offers on a single home, especially like Frisco and Prosper. And so how to win those deals, the number one best advice I can give, and please don't think this is a sales pitch, but you do want to find a very experienced agent who specializes in buyers, because they work exclusive with buyers and they are skilled in strategy. It's going to take strategy and a whole lot of prayer to win in some of these markets. Number 2, if you are in another state and you want to move here, don't be too afraid of purchasing a home by video. I know that sounds crazy. But what's going to happen is, if this crazy market continues throughout 2022, then what we're going to want to do is you guys can come out, you can do your discovery trip. And some people purchase a home on their discovery trip. Some go back, and some will then purchase by video, and some will come make a second trip. But all that being said, if you can't find a home or secure an offer on your first trip when you're out here, then at least learn the areas, know what you're getting into, feel comfortable with the cities, and then we can do video tours for you when a home goes live on the market. That way you're not it just reduces the stress, I promise. And our people are so thrilled with the homes, even by video tour when they move in. So with that, get a video tour or in-person tour the day it goes on the market, and put an offer in. If you love the home, put an offer in the same day. It's very important to be one of the very first offers in. And the reason is because listing agents are super happy and excited when the offers start coming in, and they open all of their emails and they're like, ooh, this is a good offer. Ooh, this is a great offer. And they're looking and contemplating, and then they get overwhelmed with offers, and then they stop looking at them. They stop answering their phone calls. They stop answering texts until it's time to pick one. So what we want to do, we are strategic as agents, is we want to see if we can build a rapport with the agent, get our offer in ASAP, develop relationship before it gets too crazy. They will give us preferential treatment if that's the case. So make sure you're real quick in putting in offers. The third tip is pay what the home is worth to you. So I get this question a lot. Dana, how much should I put my offer in for? How do I know if it's gonna win? How do I in the answer is, we don't know if your offer is gonna win, because even if we put a really good, strong offer in, someone crazy could come in and just blow us all out, or someone, you know what I mean? So all that being said is, at the end of the day, and this is no matter what market we're in, a seller or buyer's market, pay what it's worth to you. And what I mean by that is, when you put in an offer, we'll give you the comps as licensed agents. We'll give you our professional opinions and advice. But at the end of the day, when you write that amount, you don't want to put it in so high that if you get the home, you regret it. Okay? You don't want to regret putting the price too high that it's what it's worth to you. So if it's the perfect home for your family and you're willing to pay this price, pay it. It's worth it to you. If it's not the perfect home, just give it your best offer, and then have peace about it when you walk away if you don't get it. And then the second part to that is that don't put it in so low that if you don't get it, you regret it, okay? So likewise, so don't put it in so high that if you get it, you regret it. Don't put it in so low that if you don't, you regret it and you wish you would have put in a higher offer, okay? That's where we as licensed agents, we don't know your motivation. We don't know how well it fits your family lifestyle, how much you love it. That's something that you can decide. We can give you our opinions on value and stuff, but that's my advice to anyone purchasing a home at any time. The fourth tip to getting your offer accepted when, buying a home is be prepared to put in an appraisal waiver. Well, Dana, what's an appraisal waiver? An appraisal waiver says if the home does not appraise for your purchase price, then you will make up the difference with cash. Now, many times if you have 20% down or more, you won't have to worry about this unless you're like, $200,000 above the appraised value. What this means is the bank is not going to give you a loan for more than the property is worth, which is why they send an appraiser out there. Now, is it really worth it? Well, appraisals always trail the market, okay? So the market sells here, but the closed homes are selling here, meaning they always trail the market. So don't feel like if, say a $500,000 home, you put in an offer for $500,000, it only appraises for $450,000. Well, maybe a month ago they were only going for $450,000, but now they're going for $500,000 because that's what it takes to secure an offer. The appraisal will always trail true market value, okay? And the second thought on appraisers is it's one man or woman's professional opinion of value. Your real estate agent has a professional opinion of value, and another real estate agent will have their professional opinion of value. And so I just don't want you to get too tied up on the appraisal. Now, the waiver just says, hey, if it doesn't appraise, I'm still willing to pay this price. And if the lender requires I come up with additional cash, I'm willing and able to pay it. And with that, you have to have your extra cash in the bank. The fifth tip is have your lender, if you're getting a loan, have your lender process your file through underwriting. What that means is they can issue a real pre-approval letter versus, hey, I've looked at their assets, I've looked at their tax statements. It's more in depth, it's an approval. It gives more assurance to the seller that you're qualified. So go ahead and have the lender process your loan through underwriting. We just did this with buying a rental property, and it's not as good as cash. However, it is better than a standard pre-qualification letter from your lender. By the way, if you're putting in offers, you do have to have a pre-qualification letter or proof of funds if you're paying cash in order to put an offer in. So don't wait until last minute. That's not even on my checklist, but don't wait till last minute to get your pre-qualification letter. If you're 6 months out, go ahead and get started. Number 6, be flexible with your move date and be generous with a leaseback. Well, Dana, what's a leaseback? I'm glad you asked. A leaseback is when, so you contract a home, you close on a home, and then after closing, when normally you'd get keys at closing, you lease back the property to the seller for, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. Just be generous with that time in this type of market. It used to be standard to give a 3-day lease back for free. Now I would say a 2-week lease back is maybe standard for free. Everything's negotiable. But be generous, meaning willing to give that seller, if that seller has to find a place and not be contingent on their next home, they may want a 1, 2, or 3 month lease back. So be generous with your time. It's negotiable how much you charge them to lease it back. Just know that you may skip a month if you're getting a loan in a payment, so that helps, kind of balance some things out. But we can advise you on that as well. Tip number 7 is maybe you want to consider some homes outside of the hottest areas, the hottest markets. So like right now, Frisco and Prosper are just ridiculous, okay? There are very few homes compared to the buyers on the market, and maybe you want to buy a little further out, and then as the market cools down, which gosh, I don't know when it's going to cool down. If no one can really forecast the future, even all these experts, as you can see, they forecasted a market crash and it did not happen. But all that being said, I would say at least a good 3 years, in my opinion, okay? I can't predict the future. But all that being said, maybe buy outside of your hot areas, and then later on you can move in. So like if you really love Frisco, remember Frisco Fields will be building in a couple of years. So maybe you can buy in Little Elm. There's Little Elm with Frisco schools, or maybe you can go to McKinney, or maybe even on the Fort Worth side. In some of these areas that it's not as crazy as Frisco. And then in a couple of years, then move to a really nice home in Frisco Fields. Likewise, my 8th tip is don't necessarily get so hung up on the top 5% of schools. And so you have Carroll ISD, Lovejoy ISD, Highland Park, all these schools that have very high rankings, which are for a reason, but just don't think that the other school districts are not great, because they really are fantastic. Texas is known for having great school districts, and there's like almost 1,000 school districts. So if you're in the top 15%, you're the top 150 ranked schools, and each school, regardless of ranking, will have different programs and things available. So it can determine what your students are looking for in a school, rather than how does it rank on test scores. So for instance, my kids went to Keller schools and we loved them. They're in the top 15 percentile total. I mean, people love those schools. And we do homeschool right now, and it's not because we didn't love Keller, it's for many reasons of different for each kid. Definitely email me if you have questions on that. But we were very, very pleased with Keller schools. I just want you to know that. And they're not, Carroll ISD, which Carroll's great too. So also you can move to like Argyle or places, Aledo, that the schools are still ranked very high, but maybe the word's not out yet that it's such a great city. The 9th tip that I have for you isn't necessarily about securing a home in a multiple offer situation, but rather just a word of caution. If you're going to buy a brand new construction home, don't buy at the top of your market, because it is taking a while for these homes to be completed, to finish. It can take a year, anywhere from 8 months to even a year and a half for some of these homes, especially if it's a custom build. It could take 2 years with the supply chain issues that we are still having today. But what I was going to caution you on is don't buy at the top of your budget if you're getting a loan, because if the interest rates go up in the time frame at which you are building, you don't want that interest rate, which affects your monthly payment, which affects your debt to income ratio, or just all these factors that play into what they will qualify you for. So I would just make sure you have a little bit of wiggle room if you're buying a new home construction, in case your interest rate goes up, and you can still get approved for a loan. Okay, that's a side note. And the 10th tip that I have for you when putting in offers on homes to get your contract secured, to get your offer accepted, is the terms of the contract. Again, this kind of goes back to an experienced agent versus a newer agent. We can manipulate several things in a contract to make it more appealing to a seller. Not only that, but when you have an experienced agent fill out the contract, the listing agent, if they are experienced, they can spot red flags, and they can spot newbie agents. And so experienced agents, listing agents, don't like to work with inexperienced newbie agents, because it creates a lot of problems, and it's expectations and client management, paperwork, like there's so many issues that come with inexperienced agents. And so with all that being said, the terms of a contract, so you have the earnest money, which is typically 1%. You can put more earnest money down. You have the option fee, which it used to be standard $200, but now if you're not putting $500 or more as an option fee, then you may not get accepted. Your offer may not get accepted. You also have the option days, which some people are actually waiving the option days. I don't like that. I don't like that as an agent, but sometimes you just got to do whatever it takes, and which means that no matter what comes back on the inspection, you're going to accept the property as is. And then who pays for the title policy, who pays for survey. There's so many different terms in a contract that can make a difference if your offer is accepted. So that, again, I'd refer you back to your buyer specialist. And I hope that these help you when putting in an offer in on a home to get your offer accepted. So if you are looking to buy a home in Texas, fill out my Dream Home Questionnaire in the link below and schedule your one-on-one buyer consultation. And if you're looking to sell a home in Texas, fill out my Sell My Home Questionnaire in the link below. And thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Yeah.